I don't know if it's working. Greetings, Soul Tribe. This is Spirit, your cosmic mentor in the moment with Harmonious Living Mindset. And today's tool is going to be TA Tuesday. I'm going to try to do this on Tuesdays. We'll see how it works. I hope this is working. It's kind of glitching, so hopefully it's working. So TA Tuesday, what TA stands for is Transactional Analysis. And this, I've given a few of these gems in the past in other videos, and it is developed by Eric Berne, who created this form of psychotherapy. And I learned this when I was living at a Moja Drum and Music Co-op when I was in my 20s, 25 or so. So it's been very helpful throughout my life. And we're going to just work with a few things, and we're going to talk about accountability today. So if you remember for those of that follow me, thank you for doing that. I appreciate you. So our ego states are being developed in our lives from 0 to 7. And the first ego state is our kid ego state or the child ego state. And that is about our feelings, okay? And then the second ego state is the adult ego state, which is who, when, why, what, where. And that is about our thoughts, okay? And then the third ego state is a parent ego state, and that's given to us by our parents or parent substitutes. And that is the attitude, and it's split between a nurturing parent and a critical parent. So when these are being developed, it's from 0 to 7, and we get the script from our parents or parent substitutes society and how we see ourselves in the world. And a lot of times we can fall into, we don't remember what happens. Okay, so we don't remember what the script is. We don't remember what happened from 0 to 7. So we end up falling into 4 life positions to get strokes. Strokes are positive or negative units of recognition, okay? And a lot of people don't know how the stroke economy goes like this, is to freely be able to give ourselves strokes, positive or negative units of recognition, to give strokes freely, positive or negative units of recognition, to reject unwanted strokes, positive or negative units of recognition, or to ask for strokes. Mostly we want positive strokes. And a lot of times people don't know how to get those because no one really taught us how to do that in a healthy way. So we play games that people play to get recognition, okay? And if they can't get positive recognition, then people will play games to get negative recognition. And so we're going to talk about accountability. I think, going forward, like we're seeing things break down in the world right now because there isn't accountability. People don't have self-accountability. Like people are going around stealing from other people, harming people in wasteful and destructive ways. And they have no accountability for their actions or feelings or thoughts. And then, people don't really know how to hold other people accountable. So we don't know how to hold ourselves accountable. And we don't know how to hold other people accountable in a healthy way because that's not being taught anywhere. So Eric Berne took a lot of his lessons into a group setting because accountability was easier to be done if people were given tools of communication to hold each other accountable. And so accountability is really misunderstood, especially by people who grew up in environments where there was a lot of control, blame, or emotional neglect. So with Eric Berne, another person who took Eric Berne's stuff was Claude Steiner, and he applied it socially to social dynamics, like in our world. And so the only place that accountability can be had is with the adult ego state. That's that who, when, why, what, where thoughts, the rational thoughts, okay? Because if we try to hold accountability from our kid ego state, it becomes pleading. It just doesn't work. It sounds like pleading, apologizing too much, Staying silent to avoid conflict. I know that one really well. Hoping that others will change. I know that one really well too. So I'm sharing this information for whoever resonates with it, because I'm wanting to have those tools, and sharing them with other people I think is helpful, because going forward into our world, we need more forms of communication that are healthy, and accountability, self-accountability, and holding other people accountable in a healthy way is important. Now, if accountability comes from the parent ego state, remember that's the attitude, and it's split between a nurturing parent and a critical parent. That sounds like blame, lecturing, shaming, or punishing, and it doesn't really create change. So accountability only comes from the adult, because that's the reality part. The adult creates that who, when, why, what rational thinking. And it's naming facts instead of stories. It also is separating feelings from behaviors. And it's asking, like, what is mine to own here and what is not? I think that's really important. The adult asks, what is mine here and what is not? So I'm going to give you an equation that Eric Berne gives, and it's when you said X, the impact was Y. And I'm asking for Z going forward. So when you said X, this is if you're confronting somebody or the situation, the impact was Y. I'm asking for Z going forward. Because in the world, there's a lot of discounting going on, and the definition of discount that Eric Berne gives in Transactional Analysis, in TA, is that some internal mechanism is making a person either minimize themselves, another person, or the situation. And so right now in the world, we have a lot of discounting going on, where people are minimizing other people, and they're minimizing the situation and minimizing themselves at the same time. And then there's no real true accountability being held on in the world, you know? So anyway, what's another one here? Okay, so Claude Steiner, who took Eric Berne's stuff and applied it into a social context, said, you know, you are responsible for your feelings. Oh, no, he said you're not responsible for your feelings. You are responsible for what you do with them. So self-accountability means I may feel rage, right? I'm still responsible for not harming. So you have that feeling, and you're responsible for what you do with your actions. I may feel fear. I may feel fear as a feeling. I'm still responsible for honesty. I may feel grief. I'm still responsible for self-care. So feelings explain behavior. They do not excuse it. So let's say that again. Feelings explain behavior. They do not. They do not excuse it. So holding others accountable works in the same way. You do not argue with someone's feelings. You do hold boundaries around their actions. You do not argue with someone's feelings. You do hold boundaries. Okay. So here's your mantra. I take responsibility for my choices, words, and my healing and my actions. I do not carry responsibility for what is not mine. It's a simple mantra. I take responsibility for my choices, my words, my healing, and my actions. I do not carry responsibility for what is not mine. Okay? So these are some things of healthy accountability. It's not harsh. It's not permissive. It's just clear. It's grounded, and it's human. I love you, Soul Tribe. You're so awesome. I'm sharing these things because I know that somewhere this information's helpful for me. And so for somebody out there, I hope it's helpful for you in wherever you're at in your relationship with yourself, with relationships with other people, especially, I'm sharing it because I know what it's like to be surrounded by a bunch of narcissists and to be on a major healing journey throughout my whole life. And so any tools that I can give you as my soul tribe, as the galactic tribe, I'm wanting to share them with you now because I'm able to. And so I hope that it helps just one person, one soul out there. And if it does, please let me know somehow, okay? You can share, comment. I just am so grateful for you. So, hold your own self accountable by asking, asking your kid, what do you feel? Asking your adult, what am I thinking? Who and why, what, where questions. And then the third is, what's my attitude? Am I in a critical attitude or am I nurturing one? Okay. Blessings, peace, and mind, body, and spirit. Ciao for now. Ciao.